Time to prove them all wrong once again.
Ain't that the truth, dude?
Ah, we start with the themes.
Wow, dude.
Wow.
At Riot, we've always loved music.
Yeah.
In fact, in certain countries, people don't call us a game company. They call us a music company. And they say we're making games to do marketing for our music.
Oh, that's awesome. What a compliment.
And so, obviously, when we dived into a TV show, we knew music was going to be a big part of it.
Yeah.
Music is obviously personal to Christian. It's personal to a lot of folks on that team.
I think Alex Yee once said, when you go write a script, and I think it's the same thing with music, you know, when you go write a song and you sit down to do it and someone asks you, oh, are you gonna write a great song today? It's kind of like, it's kind of like going, you know, maybe, you know, it's kind of like going fishing, he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might get one, yeah. It depends on the inspo.
I have experience to know where the best spots are.
Welcome to the playground.
Wow, dude.
But whether or not I'm actually gonna catch one,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up in the air, honestly.
It's the process, man. You gotta keep doing it.
Yeah.
and when Arcane came about, we said, hey, we're gonna craft a full album of all these different songs, of all these different genres. It really was the culmination of all the different skill sets that we've developed over the many years on the music team to craft something that's really unparalleled.
And they did.
They really did.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yes, I'm just so excited for this. The music is just so good, man.
Wow.
Oh, the swelling.
I know.
Oh.
So much emotion there. Musical Misfits. I love that.
Welcome to my studio in North Hollywood. This is where we make some of the music for Arcane.
Hell
Follow
yeah.
me.
Show us around, man.
We're going for an incredibly messy aesthetic of gear everywhere. We don't invite people over. You're the first human beings I've seen or invited here in years. We prefer dark, no windows.
Lock yourself in the process, you know?
Time I've been able to have like an actual piano.
That's so
I've got
cool.
the most important instrument of them all, obviously. The French horn here. Everything I do is just French horn, and then I'll just auto-tune it to sound like other instruments. It's a
that's so
cool trick that I learned in school. Just kidding, I'm way in debt for my college life.
Dude, what?
What made Seaver really, really special is that he's not only extremely talented at writing melodies, you know, for pop vocals, but also he's a classically trained musician. He went to Juilliard as a French horn player, and when that career failed, he became a really successful pop artist.
Wow, Juilliard?
Wow, dude.
Takes a lot to get into Juilliard as a musician.
Dude.
Working with Riot since about 2016. Each year for their Worlds event, the biggest esports tournament probably ever, we write an anthem for them, so like a big pop song. Legends Never Die was the first like Worlds anthem that I wrote.
Wow.
And about 2.5 years ago, Christian reached out and he's like, what do you think about Arcane? Do you want to get involved? And I was just like, oh, yes.
Hell yeah.
Sign me up.
What kind of question is that?
I know.
I'll be like,
I was like, what do you think about it? No. I want to
just
be
sign the
part of
contract
it.
for me at this point.
Yeah.
Big part of the development from the very beginning instead of just this post-production phase, you know, that it often is in film and television.
The first time I heard about Arcane was pretty much a series of index cards stuck to the acoustic treatment in Christian's composing room.
Wow.
Technically, he was still a composer then, but he had the story that he wanted to tell, and he had ideas for who he wanted to help him tell it.
Dude, such a creative guy. Holy shit. Christian Link.
Alex Temple, who is just an incredible composer.
But at that point, I hadn't done any longer form narrative work. I'd done shorter form narrative, whether it's like a 3 to 5 minute trailer or things like that, but nothing approaching the scope of Arcane.
Wow.
No.
Imagine, dude, that's a lot to shoulder.
Yeah, more responsibility.
Yeah.
So this is a gujun. I might be pronouncing it slightly incorrectly, but yeah, normally it's played. It has a pentatonic scale. You can affect the pitch by, you know, bending over here.
Wow.
What an interesting instrument.
I've been using it completely incorrectly, you know, playing the back side of the instrument. or even sort of playing it with this singing bowl mallet.
Coming up with different sounds,
Wow.
A few months at least. We actually stayed away from any like picture material from the show, and we just explored themes in isolation for every character.
Oh no.
You want something that clearly makes a statement about who this character is, but you also want something that's adaptable. So this is the beginning of episode 3. We have this vocal melody that comes in.
Wow.
So, for example, we have this character, Silco. You know, he's kind of one of the villains of the show. He's a complex character.
Yeah.
He has good reasons for some of his motives, but he's sort of a villain.
Such a layered character, man.
Not sort of villainous at all. It's very sort of welcoming and kind of seductive in a way.
Wow.
So sometimes when we use these sort of motifs, they come back in kind of subtle ways.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow.
Wow, dude.
Confused, distorted version of that.
Right. It makes sense for his character.
Performed so beautifully by the soprano and the other cue.
We really wanted to have just melodies, you know, for characters. Like, you should feel like you remember this character in this moment when you hear this melody. They're always there, but sometimes they're darker, sometimes they're brighter, sometimes they're faster, but they're always there.
Nice, dude.
Wow. Dude.
Alex Temple, the lead.
That is awesome.
Wow, dude.
A god-tier orchestra composer, like to a level I can't get to.
First violins.
Oh, here we go.
R13 can play that out a little more.
Okay.
Thanks. One more for luck, and then we'll move on.
Wow. He's just doing it like that, dude. That's crazy.
So talented, man.
It's funny because I was a French horn player growing up, and so I listened to just all this Mahler and like Bruckner and all these people, and so I thought I was obsessed with it, and then I'd talk Mahler with him, and he's just like, oh, the specific recording of George Schultz for the third movement versus the Bernstein recording, and you're like,
and you're just like, okay.
You win the nerd contest.
It's funny when you meet people like that, like just when you're thinking like, I'm pretty knowledgeable, you're like, never mind.
Wow. Let's go, Ray.
I know.
So Ray Chen is a phenomenal violinist. You never know quite what it's going to be like working with, you know, somebody who's at the top of their field.
Ray plays as a soloist with the Los Angeles Philharmonic, the big orchestras in Europe, you know, London.
Wow.
He's probably the first classical violinist who plays on like a $20 million Stradivarius to an animated series.
Hell yeah.
He's got a lot of patience. A lot of the time, the music I put in front of him, it's written because we know he can play it.
Yo. It's that sequence.
Dude.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Oh
That
my
was
god.
horrible. My god.
Wow. Dude. Holy shit.
Who wrote this?
Getting very dramatic for all of our characters. This is a cue that's based on the theme of the character Victor. This is around the time when he pushes his body and the transformation further and further, and kind of gets seduced in a way by this hex core, and starts to kind of lose parts of his humanity.
Yeah.
Such a tragic storyline for him.
Yeah.
Like a terrible beauty, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a really tragic moment, but it's also kind of a tragic ascendancy because it's like it's not a good thing that's happening, but at the same time, this is kind of like a
becoming more powerful.
Yeah, in a way, it's a kind of liberation for him.
Yeah, he's kind of like releasing himself from those chains, but also losing part of himself in the process.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
2.5 years. And it was only about a year ago that we were like, let's do a 11, 12 song pop soundtrack to go with the show.
There's a girl in town and word's gonna rap.
These guys are insane. They're like, after all this work, let's add some more to it. You know?
Special moments in every episode with music. And so with the editors and the directors of Fortiche, we try to find a moment where the music can actually take over and be in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm. That was a very smart choice.
Mm-hmm. Hey. I already see Echo in the firelight.
How could you ignore?
Working on Arcane, the pressure is pretty high. All these great, amazing artists, and the story is amazing, and the animation is amazing, the score is amazing, the sound is great. The music has to be good too. The songs have to be good.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you're part of something that's excellent, man,
is like ultimate homie for me.
I love
we
that.
We did Rise together, did Awaken together.
Oh, wow.
I cannot wait to work with him any chance I get.
Sebastian is this interesting character. I remember in his interview, we always asked him, like, what kind of song would you make for this character, for that moment? And he would always just go, I don't know. And so we're like, we don't know if he's the right guy for the job. And then you just start hearing the songs, and all of a sudden you're just blown away. He's the kind of person that just does, but doesn't talk about it.
Nice.
We call these the banger labs. Or all the bangers.
Banger labs. I like that.
Well, have we heard there's some music going on?
So I had already worked on cinematics for Riot and music videos and things like that. But Arcane, the extra difficulty was that, the purpose of the song is for a scene, is for the story.
Right.
True. Welcome to the playground.
Unlike other movies and shows that might have just like a standalone incidental soundtrack of pop artists, where we actually wrote these to picture the way that you would score something.
But you can tell, that's the thing, like, it's so honed in on the moment.
Yeah, it's symbiotic with whatever's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they work in tandem with each other.
I know for Sebastian and myself, it was like really difficult to like figure out that language where we're getting things to feel like a song, but also getting them to dodge between dialogue or like hit peak moments to picture, which might not be happening at a set tempo.
This before, I think I might just...
I think so much in what we do with the songs, you can kind of find parts of the world as well. Like Zon, this underground world where a lot of things kind of get repurposed, reused, mangled, distorted. That's what the drums kind of also tell me. Where I feel like, okay, if Jinx would design a kick drum, what would it sound like?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
When we worked with B. Miller, she had recorded some really amazing improvisations. Like this for example, is...
Dude.
She totally understood the vibe of what we were trying to convey, descending into Zon, and it just was perfect.
Man, these people are so fucking awesome.
I know, so talented.
You can still edit, sequences and boards to the music. I think what we found pretty fast is that we would have this issue that we would approach all these artists and we'd say, we want to make music with you, make these songs. And they'd say, oh, cool, that's awesome. When do they go out? And we would tell them like, in 2 years. And they would go, oh, never mind. So what we did instead is to actually write the songs ourselves. And then bring on the artist to kind of like, either to sing it or find their version of it.
Oh,
okay.
Light it up and I'll find you.
Oh, no. One of my favorite tracks.
Funny enough, mine too. We didn't even initially think about Wood Kid for this song. We had him for a different one, and he happened to hear this demo and went, oh, let me do that one instead. And it was the greatest thing that could have ever happened. This was like sort of an action-y piece when I had first written it, and then he turned it into the most chill-inducing string thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It reminds me so much of like a Bond theme, like the intro of a Bond movie. Oh,
big one was the Jinx Echo fight.
Hell yeah.
In episode 7. Got that vibe figured out, and then for the vocalist, the rapper, they were like, okay, we have some ideas of who could be super cool. Like, okay, let's see what can, let's send the track to them and see do they want to do it, and also, are they going to do something that fits? Denzel Curry was one of them.
In this Celtic underground city, we all sin. If I bring a couple rounds with me, then we all win.
Jizzle was another one.
Just might kick your butt, go run amok, then paint my nails. Never learned to raise my head. Was too busy raising hell.
And Brenjo, he sent us a demo that was kind of sounded like a female vocal. I was like, oh, that's a really cool, catchy kind of chorus part.
Wow.
Turns out it was him just pitched up.
I'm racking up white diamonds. Throw me in the sky, you would sweat a sunshine.
All 3 sent us really awesome stuff. So we got 3 demos, like, oh my god, like, what can we do? A little bit of a challenge just from having
put all 3 together.
Dude, yeah.
How do we make 3 songs into one song? Let's try to use all 3.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. This sequence never gets old.
That was one cool and challenging thing about working on Arcane songs is you get these puzzles that you have to solve.
Yeah, very much so.
Dude,
this sequence was so cool.
Incredibly beautifully done. Like
we did for music was kind of happening then like after the episodes were already done, and so now if we do it early enough, we would have the ability for the artists to just kind of write whatever they want, and then we can cut the episodes to it. I think it was such a limitation for the writing musicians,
Working with Christian is pretty special because he's a musician. That's also another great thing about him is that he's not going to waste time. If it's not great, he'll tell you. He'll tell you right away. Yeah,
that's good.
Working.
Straight up guy, you can work and improve.
Just solo it real quick. I just want to hear it because I don't know if the orchestra always makes me feel like it's more convoluted than what it actually is.
Christian started his career at Riot in an entry-level position, answering tickets when players have a problem.
No way!
What?
Problems.
Are you kidding me?
Only a couple years later, he started to write some music, and only then we realized, oh my God, this guy is an amazing talent.
Where he started and where he ended up, man. That's...
the first time I met him, he came onto campus.
Good for you, Christian.
I know, it's amazing, dude.
The neck tattoo.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, so, tell me, what jobs have you worked? What have you done prior to coming here? And he's like, oh, well, I did some music. I was in a band. I traveled around Europe doing some tour kind of stuff.
Dude,
I was
that's
like,
so cool.
Don't care. How well will you serve the players? It took me a little while to realize that he was, in fact, a big deal.
Wow.
I believe he told me the biggest audience he played in front of was like 100,000 people.
Are you kidding?
Holy crap!
Dude, look at him.
Because he gives us feedback like, no, the cello needs to be an octave lower and it needs to be this dynamic. Like, he just knows how to speak music.
Wow, dude.
When I released my album, I had one song that I was like super into, and I'm still really happy with it, but I just remember Christian was like, and Christian liked it when I was working on it, and then he heard the final, he's like, it sounds unfinished.
Yo,
you gotta break them before we can build them up.
Yes, it's all about the abuse, Christian. You're right.
Of course.
It's the pressure that makes diamonds. Don't forget.
The last song we had to come up with, and this one was
the hardest one.
Yeah.
Is it going to be the one I think it is?
Was,
ambitious.
Ambitious and hard to execute.
Oh, this fight was...
Dude, that sequence.
We kind of go into it knowing, like, by the way, this is the big champion moment for Vi and for Jace, and this needs to be great. And you're gonna question every choice you make because it's like, but is it great? And so it's also just expectations are always really high.
Yeah, of course.
So this is a bit of a Hail Mary just to kind of say, hey, we couldn't really figure it out, and so someone had recommended Paris, just because she has a really cool sound, and then we just kind of went, maybe we should just let her do her thing.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Demo they send over, and yeah, we were just kind of opening it up for the first time.
Hell yeah, dude. This sequence with this track was...
It was so good, the entire sequence. Oh my god. It's just...
That's pretty cool.
Delicious.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
You know, her voice just feels like kind of something that Vi would...
Yeah, the attitude, yeah,
She even
absolutely.
has like the shaved side, and
Oh my
then like
God,
the
I
nose
love
ring. I was
that.
like, she kind of is Vi.
Hell yeah.
It's a cool look, I love it.
Go rockstar. Hey! That is awesome. Imagine Dragons! Oh, that's him?
Yeah.
I did not recognize him.
I'm Dan from Imagine Dragons,
Hell yeah.
and this is our studio. This is where we did Enemy. So I'll take you on back.
What a track.
Well, hello.
Oh, hello there.
This is
hello,
Dan Passman, our drummer. How's it going? Ben McKee, a bass player.
Oh, fancy meeting you here.
And Wayne Sermon, the guitarist.
I'm just gonna pretend that I'm the camera person.
Oh, I can't believe you guys are in here at this exact time.
I just felt like I needed to be here.
It's like a nice little studio to kind of vibe in.
That was a question I had. Like,
Yeah.
do all of you play or some of you?
The three of us play. So Platzman plays.
No
Ben's a more
way!
old school gamer.
Did you try League? I have tried League. It is. I am a simple.
Yes.
He's like, how do I say this politely?
I love Riot. We've worked with them for a long time, and we've been a part of the community for years.
Wow.
And I love Christian. We vibed out. He told me about what he'd been working on. He showed me a lot of slides and storyboard. At that time, it was in the very early stages of Arcane. But it was enough that I understood the dynamic at play with, you know, the sisters and Vi and Jinx.
Wow.
Dude.
What makes you different makes you strong.
Dude.
Oh, this track
You know,
is so
as far
good.
as Enemy goes, I think there's a lot of times in people's lives where you just feel like alone, or you feel isolated. And that song is written in isolation and feeling kind of you against the world.
Yeah.
Searching to be home, stories in a tone. When my back was to the world, smiling when I tell you you're the greatest. But once you turn, they hate us.
Wow.
Wow.
The little guitar riff in the back,
I know.
that is just,
Oh, dude, this is so good.
They say, pray away. I swear I'll never be the same.
amazing, guys.
Dude. Oh.
This is my
Y'all are
favorite.
gonna-
This
yeah.
is
It
like,
goes without saying, like, the last scene of season one is probably going to be an important scene. And it
This
was this
one breaks
beautiful
my heart.
montage. And they had temped it up with this, like, stunning David Bowie song. And they're like, you know, Alex, could you write us a song that fills this moment? And you're like, sure, I'm going to have a panic attack first. I'm going to go see my therapist. And then as soon as I center myself, try and write a song.
awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Go
I'm
through
gonna
the
go-
motions, you know?
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta go freak out for a second, but I'll be back.
Oh, what could have been is such a beautiful track.
It's an amazing track, dude.
So here's some of the initial stems that I had done. It was just like a piano and my own vocal. I am the monster you created.
Wow.
Ripped out all my parts.
He has a great voice,
I
too.
love his voice.
The way it starts is just like a person just like lamenting. I mean, it was really Jinx's voice in this song. The lyrics for that one came quickly. The difficulty with that was writing a song that's structured properly, because Jinx fires this rocket at first,
Right.
which is like a beautiful moment as it soars across the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
And I
such
wasn't at
beauty
the
in
point
this
in the
moment.
song that something that big was supposed to happen yet. So we had to like figure out how to write almost like a bridge section that is this rocket blast moment before we get back to the second verse and before we continue the song.
Right.
Christian would give us us feedback, and we'd kind of hit our stride, and then it would be like, okay, which artists do we want to have sing this?
Wow.
They shot this in the Game Awards? I need to see this. Sting.
Wow.
Fucking Sting, dude. Like, what? Wow.
I am your ghost, a fallen angel.
Dude, I have goosebumps, man. This show's
Jesus.
all over.
They even got the red moon in the background.
Sting was at the top of our list. I mean, it's pretty convenient to be like, oh, we'd love to have Sting. Like, oh yeah, would you? We had him there, and we were able to talk to him about it and get him into it and show him the sequence, and he was just really generous, and it did exactly what we had hoped, which is just elevate it into this moment that is kind of above everything else. Like when you hear Sting's voice enter, you're just like,
the violin in this part.
I know.
Oh. Wow.
What could have been?
Wow, dude. Goosebumps and emotional. Like,
yeah.
Storytelling come together, this acting kind of come together.
We're bleeding money, and for what? His dreams of rebellion. He's losing control.
I'm curious to see how it will go when this show hits all the platforms so people can watch it and it's released, and how it'll go for our league audience.
It's gonna go amazing, dude.
Our league audience, they will certainly tell us how they feel.
Yes.
All I really hear is just It's pretty scary to know that you're working on something that really cannot fail. You know, like that's not an option.
Yeah.
And so
dude, the pressure, man,
makes you question everything.
Poor guy.
Man.
What an episode, man. Holy shit. Yes. I hope that they show us the aftermath of the show release. Yeah, if the next episode does not end with like the premiere date and the aftermath and the success story that this is, you know, because we all know how this all ended, right? And it's so cool to see Christian Lin kind of freak out over the show.
I mean, imagine though, it's years and it's
over 6 years.
everything. Like he fought so hard for this. Like they all fought so hard for this to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, it makes sense. It's like, I can relate to it in the sense where it's like, you know, I'm like at a certain chapter in my book and then eventually it's just like, oh my God, like I got this far.
Did I fuck up already and I don't even know?
Yeah, and then you start second guessing every single decision that you made, and it's like and so like this is just compounded, right? So like, and it's jobs, it's reputations, and I mean, fuck reputations. Like you can always rebuild it.
Yeah, you can always do something good. Just look at M. Night Shyamalan. Like you can always hit one really good film and then everything is forgotten. So.
Listen, I love M. Night Shyamalan. Okay, there have been some questionable things that happened there, but I will always believe in him.
Well, I think as an artist, you always have to take risks. That's what I'm trying to say. You're gonna miss. Okay, you can't always aim to please everybody, and I think that's the biggest mistake that we all do as creators. And it's inevitable. You know, you want to please everybody. You want to keep people happy. You want to keep people engaged in what you do. But, you know, there's going to come to a point where you have to choose whether or not you want authenticity or you want to please everybody. And if you please everybody, then you're just going to be a very generic product. You're not going to be something unique.
It's going to be a paint by numbers.
Yeah,
the thing is, like,
exactly.
There does come a point where at certain stages in the stories that you're telling, and the thing is, like, it's also like when you're writing a song or when you're painting something, or sometimes, number one, you need to know when to break the rules and when to really just like step out of the usual mold.
Absolutely.
And also sometimes you just need to tell the story that you want to tell. Mm-hmm. What do you want to see?
We always have music as a source of inspiration, and it shapes the arcs that we're writing as well.
Yeah.
Whatever music we're listening to, we know kind of like the vibe that we're going for.
Yeah.
And then the scene kind of sprouts from those emotions that the music gives us. So music does play a big part for us creatively. So it's so cool to see that for these people, it was like absolutely essential to have a core idea, right? Like the Vi and Jinx relationship, right? Or Vi and Powder, and start crafting these amazing musical elements from just an idea of an emotion of sadness, betrayal, isolation. I love that. I love that, you know, the lead singer from Imagine Dragons, he was like, yeah, you know, this song is about isolation. And I was like, yeah, it really is about isolation more than, you know, just you against the world. It's about feeling like you are separated from reality, that you don't belong to that cluster of people, feeling like you're absolutely in a different dimension than what you should be, right? And you feel like you should belong, but you don't. I love that because it really gives you that sense of anger, like isolated without you wanting to be isolated, like being almost punished. That now you understand why there's that underlying anger through that song of Enemy, but also this sort of like romantic back and forth with that anger. Like, am I feeling sad through this anger and frustrated, or am I gonna embrace the anger and become this powerful being? And that's exactly what fucking Jinx becomes.
I was gonna
say. That's exactly who she is. So like, just it's genius, man. When you start breaking down these things, like we could spend days breaking down the musical elements of Arcane, the tracks, the score, because everything is so crafted to go in tandem with the show, and the show is so fucking well done and written and layered. You know, there's not a single moment in the show where I felt like something was out of sync. Like, oh, the music doesn't really fit, or the visuals they're not as striking as they should be. I was mind blown in every one of these sequences. I think we can both agree. I think the final sequence, the final scene with the rocket.
Oof, dude, that moment.
If you guys go back and watch my reaction, I don't think I said much. I don't remember saying much because I was so in shock with the art, like the artistry, the paint-like imagery that we were getting. It looked like straight out of a fucking canvas.
It really did.
Here I am watching this beautiful canvas mixed with probably one of the
horror.
But also probably one of the most amazing animations I've ever seen, with the rocket being kind of like just flashing in your face in like a style that I've never seen before. Plus, you know, what could have been in the background. Like, it was so overwhelming. I did not know what to feel, man. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then it just ends. You know, and you see my denial where I was like, literally, I'll stitch it here on this at the end of this clip. But I'm literally like, dude, is that it? Is there another episode? There has to be another episode. What the fuck?
And I was just like, next to him, I'm like, that's it, babe.
That's it. That was it. And now we're here, and we're in withdrawal. So thank you, Christian Link, and the rest of, you know, the Arcane team, because you guys really fucked us up for life. Now we're waiting for season 2.
We're spoiled now.
Yeah.
We're spoiled.
Absolutely.
You guys did warn us about that one, though.
Yeah.
In the comment section, they're like, have fun enjoying anything else. It's like,
ever since episode 1, they were like, oh, here we go again. You know, like, and we're like, what do they mean? Like, is it really that bad? Like, are we going to be traumatized from this? And now we get it. It's like we need our little dose of Arcane every week.
Oh, hell yeah.
Know? That's the only reason why Bridging the Rift has been like, we've been dosifying, because we're not ready to say bye after
we're
this.
We're microdosing, because what do we do with ourselves once this is done?
You know? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. This has been probably one of my favorite Bridging the Rift episodes. We're both music fans, so I think this was very personal to us. So thank you for, you know, the team in the making of. This is amazing, man. This is on par with the actual show. You guys should be absolutely proud.
Yeah, dude.
Brad,
it's a storytelling within the docuseries.
Yeah.
How? Like
they're just masters at storytelling.
So inspiring, man.
If you guys don't stick around for the shout outs, I just want to say it right now. His name is Brad Beaumont, and he is the co-supervisor / sound designer for Arcane Season 1. He is part of our Patreon community, so I'm super grateful to have you here, Brad. Thank you so much for being awesome. And he just wanted you guys to know that he says hi, and he's super thankful for everybody that tuned in for Season 1. Obviously, we're going to tune in for Season 2. We know that. And he was just grateful for the amazing community that sprouted out of this amazing show. So you guys get a little hi from someone directly from, you know, the Riot team was absolutely surreal for us. So thank you, Brad, for being so awesome and for supporting us. We love that you enjoy our content, and we hope that, you know, this is making you happy as well, seeing how much we enjoy the behind the scenes. Because we really mean it when we say that this is, you know, a very well-crafted show in every single way. And this is like not an exaggerated statement in any way. This is like, actually, we are really fans of the process, and now we can't wait to see what you guys do with Season 2.
I know.
And now for a very long-awaited Patreon shout-out. Thank you guys so much for all of your patience. Our first Patreon shout-out is actually going to be...
Monnery. Hopefully I said that right. We actually had a French, very close friend of ours. We asked her, and we really, really tried to get it right. I hope we got it right.
We've been practicing.
Yes, we've
all
been
this
practicing
time.
like that.
Just so you know, just for this shout out, just for you, Sandra.
Yes, just for you, Sandra. So Sandra is freaking awesome. First of all, she's a badass that basically is like the only person that's going to be bringing a Nokia into a apocalypse, which I really love because, you know, it's a Nokia. Like,
indestructible, you know, you put them in a sock, now you have a weapon that you can just kind of like swing around.
Yeah, tie
know?
rope and then
Exactly.
just,
So,
yeah, there you
Sandra,
go.
thank you for that idea.
Thank you for
know?
that.
And the best part is that if you have reception, you can still take calls, you know?
Hell
so
yeah.
you already know Sandra's going to be there on the, you know, on the other side on the line and just letting us know that everything is good. So
yes, we will
Sandra,
comfort each other.
Exactly. We'll help each other out. We'll be A-okay.
Yeah.
So Sandra, thank you so much for being such an incredible part of this community. You've been so active and so supportive ever since, you know, pretty much the beginning of this Patreon journey and our YouTube journey. Thank you for your, you know, love. Thank you for your shout outs. You know, you notice our hoodies, you notice the backgrounds, you notice the makeup. So thank you for being an awesome person all around. We hope that someday maybe we can visit France. Hopefully Fortiche, you know, putting it out there, just saying, you know, if you can just, you know, download this clip into a USB and just drop it on their office, you know,
Just super subtle.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be our first shout out for the day, guys. The second is gonna be Joseph Beretic. Joseph, you are absolutely awesome. He's actually a fan of one of my all-time favorite shows. You know, it's still in my top 10, and that show is Sons of Anarchy. If you guys have not watched it, go ahead and watch it. If you guys like you know, bikers and badass and actually really cool and compelling arcs for characters, it's a really good show. I think it's about 7 or 8 seasons. I can't really remember, but it's a really good drama series. You really have to check it out. This guy is an absolute badass. He not only likes Sons of Anarchy, he also is one of the fans of The Last of Us game, just like us. We absolutely love the game. So, dude, we're in for a ride with that finale of The Last of Us, aren't we?
God.
You know, we'll keep it between me and you. You know, we'll keep it here.
I'll just go fuck myself then.
Right here.
Actually, aside from the Last of Us thing, we saw in that message, like, what really stood out to me was Rage Against the Machine, and I freaking love them. Like, that's my childhood, like, right there. Like, killing in the name of, take the power back. Yes, dude.
Great
like,
music.
I saw that and I got so jazzed up about it. So
killing in the name of. Anyway, copyright.
we need to do the.
We can't.
Anyway, yes. Thank you so much, dude. You are so awesome. It's always so cool to see like all the support, read about you and what you like and all these other things. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you for sharing The Last of Us journey with us as well.
Yeah, it's been an amazing journey so far.
So many other things.
Thank you.
We will hold each other as we cry ourselves to sleep.
Yes, every single episode we will do that. We will do a rewatch party and just struggle with depression. Okay, guys, moving on to the next shout out. Let's all make way for the one and only,
the
one and only Lord Crispin of, you know, our Patreon community. This guy is a true and tested knight. He has this Lord title. You know, it kind of reminds me of the House of the Dragon character. I'm sure it's based on, somehow related to that.
I feel like, you know, our Patreon member, Lord Crispin, is the Lord Crispin that we should have gotten.
Yes.
But
the actual awesome guy, you know, that a Lord Crispin could be, but unfortunately we did not get in the show. You know?
Exactly. But to be fair, this Lord Crispin, he said in his message that all he wants is to watch us cry.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, all he wants to do is see us cry. I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or I want to watch them suffer. They have to cry. You know, it's like if he ever leaves our Patreon, why did he leave? They don't cry enough.
They don't cry enough.
They gotta cry.
But listen, we gave you what you wanted, okay? Yes. We've been crying with nearly every single thing that we've reacted to in the past 2 weeks.
Everything has been so emotionally draining. I am empty. After Shawshank and Green Mile, I think I have no more tears. So that's going to be all for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, we'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
See ya.